Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. My name is John Bowman and I am the instructor for HUM 122. You are signed up for a summer session of this class and I want to make sure that you have a good solid introduction to it. I'm going to be posting this video and then past this point I'll be posting periodic updates every single week, and I'll kind of get into that as I walk you through some of the content right now. If you would prefer the video format, let me know because I'm more than happy to continue doing that. But what I found is that over the summer, students don't mind and appreciate the written format as well with the checklists and everything. All right, so this is what you can see immediately. You're going to be able to see this video posted in an announcement at the very top. It'll be the very first thing that you see when you log in, so you can reach all your announcements right here. I want to jump straight into the modules, just so you have a kind of sense of the overview of the course, and then we'll go to some of the nitty-gritty. This is the course layout. You can find all your course resources up here at the very top. These are endemic to all the classes at the college right now. So you'll be able to see this. You'll be able to see your assignments up here at the very top. If you click into the assignments, you can see a description of each assignment type. I'll be going through that myself here in just a couple minutes. You have your introductory form. This is due right away. So you signed up. The class starts on the 19th. You can I'm making this video on the 18th, so at some point on the 19th you'll start the class and you need to immediately get in there and do your introductory form. Give me a sense of who you are and just introduce yourselves. I'll post something in there as well to kind of get things rolling, but that allows you access to everything else in the entire course. So you're going to want to do that right away because you have some assignments that are due basically right on top of that. This is an 8-week class. It's a breakneck speed. We have to get started immediately. So you do have, again, assignments that are due right away. I'm going to talk about those more in just a minute, and I'll talk about the course layout as we go forward. But you should be able to see these as well, and then you should be able to see perhaps a lot of things closed off down toward the bottom. I will be opening these each week. I don't like to open everything all at one time because I've discovered over the years that creates a problem. If I open everything all at once, what students tend to do is they just barrel ahead and they do a whole bunch of assignments, and then they don't know exactly what they're doing and they get a bunch of stuff wrong and the grade is lower overall. I will open up everything for you in the entire course about halfway through, so you're hanging there. All right, let's jump over to the syllabus. Here's all my contact information. That's the email address that you can reach me at throughout the entire semester. Don't use the @scc.stanley one. That usually forwards to me, but not all the time. You could always contact me straight through Canvas. That's 100% fine as well. If I'm on campus this semester, it will be in Snyder 203. I tend to work from home over the summer, regardless of the coronavirus thing, so I probably won't be there during the summer. You can contact me in my office, though, at this number that will always forward to my my email. Or I also listed my actual cell phone number. That is my literal private cell phone number. If you have a short question, you can text me. Make sure you do it at a reasonable hour. Something like 8 a.m. I think is reasonable up until maybe 8 p.m., 9 p.m. I'm a private person too. My wife doesn't like it when I get text at unusual hours. So, be respectful about that. Again, if it's a short question, if it's a longer question, I'll say, can we talk about this over the phone, or can we email? If I don't respond right away, keep in mind that, again, I'm a private person. If I'm watching a movie or something, then I'm not going to pause the movie or leave the movie theater if we get back to that to text you back. I value my time too. So if I don't respond right away, give me some time. If I don't respond within, I think a reasonable time frame is 12 to 16 hours. Try again. Sometimes I do miss them. All right, here are your textbooks for the class. I have the ISBN numbers there just in case you want to try to order them from some other website. You bought them through the bookstore at the college, 100% fine. However you need to get them. We will be using both of them throughout the entire semester. I tend to provide page numbers for the larger textbook, and then the smaller textbook we just read various stories out of, so I'll just give you an author's name, and you'll see that throughout the entire course. I'm going to skip past most of this because it's just standard syllabus stuff. You probably have seen a syllabus before. If you haven't and you need additional help, please let me know. But here are a couple of quick guidelines I want to share with you. I'm going to treat you like an adult all semester long. That means that I'm going to give you all your due dates. I'm going to give you your stuff ahead of time. Make sure that you have plenty of time to work on it. Expect you to ask questions if you have questions, and expect you to hand it in on time. If If you don't hand it in on time, my policy is that for every 24 hours that it's late, I deduct 10 points, and I don't accept work that's more than 5 days late. It's not worth my time, and it's not worth your time at that point, so it's just going to be a 0. As an adult, I've just covered ways that you can contact me if you need to contact me throughout the entire semester. Again, even my cell phone. If you find yourself in an emergency situation, and you need a little bit of extra time, you got called into work, or your kid fell down and hurt their knee, and you have to take them to the hospital or something. I understand. I do understand, and I do want to work with you so you can be successful in the class. But you have to let me know these things, because I can't just magically see through the computer and see you. So you have to let me know these things. Just contact me and, Mr. Bowman, I got called into work. Is it okay if I hand this in later? Sure. Yeah, I'll try to work with you. If every single week, another one of your dogs or cats died, or, somebody else has some kind of emergency, we'll have to talk about that. But that's generally speaking not the case. If you find yourself in a bind, due to a work schedule or something like that, just, again, reach out to me and we could talk about it. So there's the late work thing I just talked about. Here are your grading profiles for the entire college. You have 2 exams. I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. You have 5 explorations. That's going to be the main gist of this entire video. You have quizzes every single week, so make sure you do your quiz every single week. And then you have your final project in the course, which is due toward the end of the semester. There's your schedule right there. Everything in the entire class is due on Thursdays at 5 p.m. The only exception is this introductory forum right here at the beginning, and that's just because that's your census that marks your entry into the class. Okay, so that's a quick overview. Let's come back up here and go into the modules and talk about a little bit more granular stuff. All right, let's start with the assignments themselves. So again, you have 2 exams. One is a midterm and one is the final. The final is not cumulative. The midterm exam only tests you in everything up to about the midpoint of the course, of course. That tests you on everything up until gender. Past that, starting from race and going to religion, that's what the final exam is about. Okay, so, and again, I'll give you the reading. As long as you keep up with the reading, as long as you engage with the videos that I post, or look at the slideshows that I post, you should do fine in this class. This is a fairly straightforward class, but it does require you to do the work. If you're not doing the work, you're not going to do very well. You're going to get to the exams, and the exams are critical thinking questions. And if you go into it with mindset, well, I'll just Google it or something. No. I've seen people try to do that before. It does not work. Again, it's a very simple, straightforward class, but you have got to do the work. And so that's the exams. All right, the final paper right here. When you come into the final paper, make sure you look at all this. I'll talk about it more on updates as we move forward, but I want to call attention to that right there. Make sure you go ahead and pick your author or your book choice. I'll go ahead and preview this for you. You can look at it here inside the video, pause it if you want to. You have to pick one of these authors. Okay, this is the list of approved authors. If you have somebody else you want to pitch, that's fine. Send me an email. We'll talk about it. I have a couple other books that I have approved over the years, but you're going to probably engage with one of these. These are all people tied to the South and Southern culture and part of the South's history. And so you're going to be, again, reading one of these and doing essentially a long critique, a long evaluation of it, and tying it to the history of the South itself. Okay, I'm going to put off the explorations just for a second because I want to talk about that extensively. I'm going to actually open this on a separate tab right here. And that brings us back to the course. I'm just going to point out a couple more things and I'll end the video with the exploration explanation. Okay, again, every single week you're going to have this. I will actually open up the next week as well. I'll just go ahead and do it right here in the video. And so that way you have access to the first 2 weeks of the class, okay? You're going to have information and you're going to have, do your reading here, any videos that might appear or files. The files come directly from the class. I also, have supplied podcast here. That's where the episodes are. And so just go and listen to them. The podcasts are a really super condensed version of what I would do in lecture. So basically for an entire week of lecture, super condensed. Something like 15 to 20 minutes worth of, 2 hours of lecture. So it was very quickly. It's done on the premise that you can rewind and re-listen to it if you need to. It's just meant to supplement. It's not meant to, replace the reading. You need to do the reading, and then I would say listen to the podcast to help you make sense of what you read. So that's a good pattern. And then your assignments, work due 5 p.m. by Thursday. Your assignments underneath this, again, you'll always have a quiz and you'll always have an exploration. Now, the very first week of class, you actually have 2 quizzes, and that's because, again, we have to jump in feet first. We have to really get through something like a week and a half, 2 weeks of the regular semester within this first short time period. Okay, let's jump over to explorations, because this is where I want to end the entire thing. This is what confuses students the most every single semester, but there's a significant amount of value in this assignment. The explorations are interviews with somebody else. They are not you talking about these things yourself. Okay, that is the thing that people always confuse every single semester. Now, I have designed a template, and the template is very easy, and if you follow the template, you're guaranteed to do well. Okay, but make sure you pay attention to the word counts and the total required word count. If you try to skimp on this part, do 25 or 50 words, 25 or 50 words, and then you spend all your time down here, you're not going to do very well, because again, this is an interview. The purpose is you're going to interview somebody else using the questions that I provided, and then you're going to try to link that interview to something inside the course, right? And that's why, again, we're going to immediately jump into this. All the questions are listed right here under exploration topics. You'll have a link to this in every single exploration, but you should pick only 1 or 2 of these questions. Don't pick 5 or 10 of them. Pick only 1 or 2 and then start a conversation with it. So it shouldn't just be like, oh, I asked the question, they said yes, and I don't really know what to write. By the way, if they only say 1 word, then pick a different question or just give them the list. I have some students do that. I have students who post these on social media and try it that way. There's no one right way to do this, but you need to do it. You need to record in brief. I don't need a video. I don't need an auditory recording. I just need you to briefly summarize what they said, and then again, link that to the course. So do you identify yourself as a Southerner? Why or why not? Well, the person might say, yeah, of course I'm a Southerner. I like sweet tea and I like Sundrop, right? I mean, what else is there to being Southern? And then you might say something like, well, we're talking about it in my culture class. Maybe it's, a love of the land. Oh, well, I don't really feel that way. I actually live in Charlotte and I don't feel a deep connection to the land, but I do consider myself a Southerner. And that starts that conversation. And so you get to explore that topic through that person's lived experience. Now, the reason that these are interviews is because, of course, you know the answer to that question as regards your own life already. There's no reason for you to answer these questions on your own because you already know what you're going to say. This is intended to get you to hear other people. You're being a social anthropologist. You're going out and, let me listen to what you have to say as a member of this culture and taking that in and then thinking about how it relates to that culture. So that's what this is all about. As long as you're, again, doing that, as long as you're following this form right here, and you can download it. There's that link right there. The download button. Download it, fill it out. Don't fill it out on the screen. I also see students try to do that every single semester. It will lose your work. Download it, save it, type into the form, save it, and then submit it. Okay? If you have questions about that, if you have questions about anything else in the entire course, please let me know. Okay? I've been doing this course for, I started doing this course in 2010, so 10 years at this point. I love doing this course. I love doing this content. I am a native to the South myself. Some people say I have a slight weird accent or something. I don't know. I came from Winston-Salem. I think that Forsyth County has a kind of a weird accent. So I lived in Forsyth and I moved to Cabarrus and I bounced between Cabarrus, again, Forsyth, and lived on the edge of Rowan County for a long time, but I've lived here my entire life. I've never ever lived anywhere else. Concord, Kannapolis, Winston-Salem. So native Southerner, born and bred, love sweet tea and all of that stuff. I love talking about this content because it lets me dig into the history of the South. Okay? I look forward to working with all of you this semester. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know, and see you next week.